So tool number one is actually going to be Canva. So if I go to canva.com, just maybe I'll put that link down, like link number 5 down below, just canva.com. That will bring you to this. And we can look up t-shirt on the top. We can say search for t-shirt. And a lot of times they have designs that are here and available. So if you find one that you really like and you want to modify it somehow for yourself, you can do that. So you can go and say, hey, maybe I really like this text right here, but instead of saying savage, you want to say something else. And so like this stay strong one, this is really cool, but maybe you're trying to make this for like a fundraiser. Maybe there's a natural disaster in your area or some other area. You want to, donate funds to them and you want to support them. Then maybe you want to have like something strong. Maybe it could be like LA Strong, for example, to support the wildfires or people who were affected by the wildfires in that region. Different ideas like that. So you can kind of work off of these designs right here. Or what I'm going to do, and there's that retro style there with the different colors. I kind of like that. You can always use that format and just change the text and change the background image. That's actually pretty sick. I like that idea a lot. So let's just say we're going to go with this one, for example. Canva is really easy to work with. You can look at what's the t-shirt dimension approximately. You don't really have to worry about that too much. Let's just say we're going to customize this template. It'll give us a little box that it's working in, and you can just double click on any one of the elements. It's very intuitive. Like click, you can drag it around. You can double click on it and change what it says. So maybe this is going to, like I said, maybe it's going to be LA Strong, and maybe you want that in all of them. So you can easily just kind of change all the text right here, change it to whatever you want. And then on the left side, we have the design tool. So any other designs you might want to try if you wanted to add a page down here and just try a different design. So maybe like this one, kind of similar to what I said before, where we had like the different animals. Maybe butterflies would be a good one. I think moths, different things like that. Below that, we have elements. So you can search for a ton of different elements. Maybe if I want to do some different trees, I could just go and say, let's just search for tree, find some tree silhouettes. I know I saw one. Let's say tree silhouettes. We could just click and drag these over, maybe like a bunch of different tree styles. I don't know, whatever. You can make designs, but you just click and drag things around. And by the way, Canva is free to use, as I mentioned, or maybe mentioned earlier, but there is a pro version as well. I upgraded to it because I use it a lot. You don't have to, but see all these little crowns right here? You need the pro version to get that. And you also need the pro version to export with a transparent background. If you didn't want to export with or if you wanted to not pay, there are tools that remove the background for free. Like if you just go on Google and look up free background remover, you'll see there's typically like remove.bg, free background remover, and you could just download this design and then put it up there. It'll remove the background for you for free. But if you have a couple extra dollars, it is, I would say, worth it to get the Canva Pro option, just so you can, do it natively right here. It's going to do a better job on Canva than it would removing the background after it already adds the background. So that's kind of how you'd use Canva. We're going to come back to Canva in a minute, but let's talk about the other design tool in case you didn't want to just use the elements on the left side and in the text and stuff like that. Maybe you want to make like a totally new design like I showed you earlier in this video. And the second tool that I like to use for that, as I kind of already mentioned, is actually ChatGPT. So ChatGPT, you are able to just ask it to make a design for you, and it does a surprisingly good job. You want to make sure you're using ChatGPT 4.0. Don't use 0.1 because I don't think that can actually generate images. This is using DALL-E, so that's going to be how it makes the images. So I actually made a couple. I'll show you the examples in a second, but let's just say let's just say create an image of a retro truck in the desert. And I usually like to add kind of a little extra clause on the end. So you really want to play with your prompts to make it look in the right style. So I like to say make it simple, make it monochromatic. You can also make it multiple colors if you want. And you want it to be an image that's easily printed on a t-shirt or a stamp. I always add the or a stamp thing because for some reason that helps it to make it like a simple image that is very, very printable. You don't want a ton of detail because then print quality, like it's already good print quality, but if it's too detailed on a screen, there's more risk for the print quality variable that when somebody gets it, maybe some of the really thin lines might not be absolutely perfect. So we want to make this, we want to give ourselves the best chance possible for consistency over the long term and make it as easy to print as possible. So we can always, use this on many different products and it should always look good. So let's see what it comes up with here. And sometimes it's not good the first time. Sometimes it is good the first time, but let's see what this comes up with. We can always click regenerate on the bottom. All right, so this truck is a little bit too retro. Otherwise, I kind of do like the style here. We can click on this right here and just say try again. Let's see if it comes up with a better one the second time. If not, I may tweak that and say maybe like a 1980s truck or 1990s truck, something in like a more specific era. I'm not looking for like a 50s style truck. This one looks pretty cool here, but let's say a 1980s or 1990s truck. And another thing to keep in mind is there is sort of a limit on how many you can make. I think you can make like 20 images within 30 minutes or an hour. So you don't want to go too fast, but it's good to kind of iterate and see what ChatGPT is actually able to come up with. And then after, it says like wait 5 or 6 minutes, and then you're able to make a bunch more as well. All right, so this actually looks pretty good. I like that a lot. And when we have one that, I don't know why they put a flag on the back. Let's do it one more time. But when we have one we like, we can click the little download button and we can save it. It's going to save it as like a web file, but we can also, I'll show you something else you could do in a second. So let's try one more time on this generated image. And while that's generating, let me show you some of the other ones I came up with. So I thought of, in the golf niche, maybe you are making a joke about how, like there's a common meme that's like, if you're looking for water in space, like just play golf, because some people are apparently like they, always hit the ball into ponds and stuff. So it's kind of like a common meme in the golf community. So you could say, make an astronaut looking for a golf ball with a golf bag in the background in space. This right here, we can add some text and just say like looking for water or something like that. So I thought this one turned out really good. I think that would be very, very printable on a shirt, one color, super easy. You could even like maybe embroider that as well. But really that's a printer. Like I think that's a good one right there. We can also, I was trying out the leaf one earlier. So I could say like make a collage of North American leaves. We've got some oak leaves in there. We've got some nuts in there. We have, just a lot of variety here, some beech leaves, some walnut leaves. So that's kind of cool. And we didn't really have to do much with this design. Although it is a square design, we kind of have to play around with that a little bit over in Canva. But scrolling down another one, I thought like, hey, pickleball is kind of funny that it's called pickleball. Maybe there's a way you could have a pickle playing pickleball, and that would be like a funny thing to have maybe on a mug, for example. By the way, I think this one right here might look better on wall art, especially if we colorize it. We can even have this in color. That would look good. But let's go down. The other one I had, and this is the one I think I'm probably going to go with in this video, was making a graphic of a skeleton. Remember I said before, I thought it was funny that if we had like a skeleton, seems to be a common trend. Like a lot of stuff uses that, but kind of ironically in the fitness space, and it's also called deadlifting. So it's like a dead guy lifting. Like, I don't know. I just thought that seems like that would be something worth trying. So I like this one right here. We can download this one, clicking the download button there. I can save it to this folder. And like I said, it saves it as a web file, so WEBP. If we don't want that, you can also just click on it. It gets a lot larger here. And then on Mac, you can say Command-Shift-4. On Windows, you just open the snipping tool, and you can highlight this entire thing right here. So we can highlight that, and then I can go and save that to my folder. And that's going to be just, exactly this size right here. Now, when you make things with ChatGPT, it does not get rid of the background. By the way, let's go check that truck. Oh, that looks really good. I actually really like this one. Let me download this as well. Let's save this one. That looks awesome. I'm going to call this one truck 1. We'll save it that way. And just to show you the difference, I'll open it and I'll take a screenshot and save this as well. We'll save that to the same folder. And maybe this one needs a little bit of like photoshopping to get rid of the gradient in the sky, or maybe just to change the gradient, maybe to colorize some things. I don't know. I think this looks really cool like it is though. That's awesome. I think that could do very, very well in kind of a camping, a desert community, like people who are like enthusiast about that, or like a truck community as well. People like the square body trucks. So I think that could potentially do very well in the right market. But like I said, we have these pictures. I like this one a lot, but let's go back to that free background remover tool. Free background remover. We can go to remove.bg. We can upload an image, or I can drag and drop it. So let's just drag and drop this one over the skeleton. Drop it right there. It'll identify the background. Hopefully, typically these do actually a surprisingly good job. Yeah, look at that. That does a fantastic job. Now we can download it. $4.99 by 500, or max quality. You have to pay for the max quality. So the max quality is 18 cents per image, or 20 cents an image. Very, very cheap. Maybe worth it to do that. I actually do already have. I just wanted to show you guys this. Like, if you could also use the lower quality one. Let's just download the lower quality one for now. Just download this one. We'll say skeleton. we'll call this deadlifting clear background. We'll save this one. But I actually do have Photoshop, so maybe I'll just remove the background in Photoshop myself so that I can have a high quality one to demonstrate for you guys. But like I said, you could always upgrade or you could scale this up. It might look just fine when we go back to Canva. So once you do that for maybe 3 or 4 different images you really like, let's go back to Canva now. So we'll go back to Canva. And from here, again, we're in this t-shirt design. Actually, right here is our t-shirt design. So maybe right down here, we can remove the background. So we can just delete that. Click the background, it highlights it purple. Click the delete button. No background. That's great. Now we can go to uploads. We can upload files. And from here, I'm going to go upload the deadlift clear one. So we'll upload this. And by the way, this would also be very beneficial to use Photoshop or even some other free tools out there that are similar to Photoshop that we could recolor this. This will look really good on white or some lighter colors, but if you're working with a black t-shirt, which like a black hoodie might work really well for this, we might want this to be the negative. We might want this to be a white outline of the skeleton instead of a black outline for the skeleton, or we just want to have the bones actually show up as white. Oh, and by the way, this is a new feature on Canva. Let me upload another file and see how well this does. I haven't tried this one yet. So let's upload that. I mean, the truck one's going to be really difficult. Let's go with the astronaut one right here. Upload the astronaut one. And I'm going to drag this over to right here. And let's see, Canva has a background remover on here. So if I could also just crop this to a circle. That would be just as easy. But let's try the background remover. So BG remover, see how it does. See what it does actually. And actually, yeah, this is another Canva Pro option. So if you're going to upgrade to Canva Pro, don't bother with the background remover I just showed you. Instead, just do it on Canva. Like this looks good. Let's make it a little smaller though. And let's just say we're going to, kind of flesh out this design with some text. Maybe this is going to be like seeking water, looking for water, something like that. I think I used a similar design in a previous project where I had an alien going around looking for water, but I don't know. I like the design. I think it looks so good. But let's go and add text. On the left side, we have text. We can add a heading, clicking and dragging that over. And we can say looking for, maybe we'll just say finding water. And we also have some options on here. So if we go to effects, we could make this like curved. If we wanted to have this curved a little bit, we could just make the radius of the circle a little larger, make it concentric with this. Finding water. I don't know. That's like a maybe design right there. It's not my favorite way to have this. I think I might play around with this a little bit. Maybe the font could be different. So let's highlight the font, see what kind of fonts look better here. All right, so I've been playing around with the designs a little bit. These are definitely not finalized, but just kind of showing you what we're working with so far. So we've got this little deadlifting skeleton. I don't know exactly what the text is going to be. This is a variable that I would test, try some different things. Maybe just no text at all. Maybe like an acronym where DEAD stands for like don't ever avoid deadlifts or, something like that. I kind of just play around with different ideas on that. But I really like the skeleton deadlifting. I think that is really cool. And honestly, I may even let's do it right now. Let's duplicate this and just get rid of the text. And maybe that's going to be like a dope thing to have on a coffee mug or something. Down here, I've been playing around with the font a little bit. This is like finding water. Again, playing with this text is going to be really important. I think this is a really cool image. I think there's a lot of potential there. But maybe it's going to be like water locating team or like whatever. I don't know. Just like playing around some different ideas of what that font is going to be. Also, we want to make sure the color matches. So right now the color is just black on this, but maybe we want it to, I'm not sure if this is exactly black. It looks like there's a little bit of a bluish tint to that. So let's make sure this matches. I'll close this. There we go. So that looks a lot better now. I think that looks like a pretty solid match. I also have down here, this is actually from a previous project. I just wanted to show you guys. Obviously, consult your legal advisor. You don't want to infringe on any copyrights, but it is kind of a whole class of products to have like a parody of some other brand out there. So this is kind of something like people do it with, like, I've seen Aldi's and they call it like Baldi's and they change the logo to like a bald guy or something, which is just like, simple humor, but it's kind of poking fun at another brand. This one I made because like Chick-fil-A, a lot of people go there and a lot of people like for some reason go on Sundays, but they're closed on Sundays. So I always thought, hey, that'd be really funny if it was like Sunday filet. like, you know, a store open right next to them, and it was like only open on Sundays. So that was kind of a fun little design. I thought that was, it turned out pretty good in my opinion. Then down here, this is just another image that I had ChatGPT make, kind of tying into that retro theme I was talking about before. Like thinking about retro, I was thinking like the desert and like a you know, square body truck kind of fits in really well. So this image, I would probably just have this image as a graphic tee. Maybe I would move it into Photoshop and make it like a little bit taller, or kind of smooth out this kind of gradient on the top, maybe even remove that cloud, but I think it was good. And then I wanted to make a colorized version of it as well, so I had ChatGPT do that, and I have that right here. So let's kind of just size this up as the final design. We're going to run with all of these, kind of make some products and put them on our store in just a minute, but let's do that background remover. Wow, that was instant. The background remover I found is surprisingly good on this, and if you ever wanted to, you just click on it again and you can go in and really tweak everything. So it looks like it missed a little spot in this corner, so I can go in here, I can zoom over, let's zoom in on this. Now I can change my brush size and just erase this little sky back here, or not sky, this background right here. Looks like a little bit over here needs to be fixed as well. This was a tricky one, to be fair. There we go. I think this looks pretty solid right now. So now the next step, like I said, we want to actually export these. The way you're going to do that, so let's do one at a time. We'll start off with, say, the deadlifting guy up here. I can just click on share on the top right. Then we can go to download. And if you have premium, like I said, you don't have to get pro, but if you want to, that'll export it without a background. So I'll say transparent background, and I want to select only the first page. Otherwise, it's like you don't want to do that. You just want to have one at a time, so they're individual images. So I'm going to select page 3. I will make sure we have the right size. So whatever size you want. So we can have it a little bit larger than it is now, so we have enough pixels. So I'm going to say done. It's going to download that, and we will have that in our downloads folder. Definitely keep track of where that actually lands. Now I'm going to do that for the other images here, just so we have all of them. Again, just click share, click download, transparent background. This time we're going to deselect all and do page 4. And I'm going to repeat this for all of them off camera, and then we'll have them in our folder. Right, so now we have our design.